You're listening to Your Worst Friend. Going deeper.
You're listening to Your Worst Friend Going Deeper with Shane and Matt. I'm Matt, and I'm joined today by my friend and co-host, Shane.
Hello.
Today, we're joined by a very beautiful guest, a lot of fun, and I think this is going to be an interesting one. Everyone this season has been so interesting so far, and I I don't know, I'm getting a baseline feeling that this is going to be a lot of fun. You can check this woman out on Instagram, and correct me if any of these are wrong, but I don't think they are. On Instagram at Godmother Rush, on Twitter at _Rush187 _. And as we always say on this show, go to OnlyFans, pay for content. If you're a listener of ours, you know we're the type of people. We do these interviews because we respect these women and the men we occasionally talk to. The men less, obviously, but the women, we really respect them as sex workers. And the second part of that sentence is workers, you know?
We respect them as people too.
Sure. You know, for the most part, yeah. I don't respect anyone as a person sometimes. You got to earn my respect. But make sure you check her out on OnlyFans at Rush187. Ladies and gentlemen, Crystal Rush, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. And thank you for having me here.
Sultry voice. Now, it sounds like you're from Ireland. Is that correct?
No, I'm from Russia.
Russia.
But I think it's a little bit closer to each other than to United States.
It is a very sultry voice. I want to get into that. I want to touch on, it kind of makes sense. You grew up in Russia. I just would like to at some point talk about that and how you got into the industry there and this and that. But if you could first start by telling us I guess this is kind of the same question. How did you get into the porn industry and what was your first step? And were you doing anything in the sex industry prior to getting into porn?
First step, imagination. Everything came through imagination. And first of all, I fell in love into porn when I was maybe 15 years old. Yes, we all watch porn when we're teenagers, the way how we learn what we can do or cannot, or once. And first of all, I fell in love into porn. It was my obsession, and I watched a lot of porn, really a lot. And yes, and I remember once it was a video. There was three guys and two girls. Yes, it was pretty hard, double penetration, all that just together. And I remember so that time I still was at the age when it's you don't do porn. But my idea was that moment, oh my God, what would I feel if I would be that woman?
Sometimes I wonder what I feel like if I would be that woman too.
Yeah, even at that, little bit late. It's not sensitive age, but still, it's pretty young. That time, I didn't have that much sexual experience or anything. But anyway, I even now, after years, I still remember, that idea which is I had. Oh my God, what would I feel? And yes, and again, from the thoughts, all energy goes out to space. And after a few years, when I moved to Moscow from a little town, I just accidentally was scrolling through. It's kind of Russian Facebook or stuff, and it was that time. It was just kind of beginning of this open online porn scouting and stuff like this. So before, you have no idea how to get in and what to do. But that time it was just the beginning. It was 2013, 12, okay. 2012. Yes, correct. And yes, and I just find out some advertisement what people in St. Petersburg, it's second capital in Russia, they're looking for models to shoot porn. And I remember that moment I didn't pay attention much, but somewhere deep inside it was yes.
So there was excitement there. There wasn't fear. There wasn't.
Yeah, of course it was a fear because all the time, like we're grown with idea what everyone want to kidnap us, take our liver, or like, I don't know, like rape us every day. In fact, like not all the time people need this from us, thankfully. And like, yes, of course, like, yeah, of course, like I had some fear what, like, like can happen everything, like, like I'm just a simple little Russian girl, like in this world trying to do some, I don't know, like crazy, naughty, sometimes dangerous and partly criminal stuff. Of course, you're going to have some fear. If you don't, I have a bad news for you.
So were you also like when you first became or when you first went for it, tried out there, were you experienced? Had you already, tried to double stuff or anything like that?
No, not like this. Like, at that time I was pretty sure that like I'm not enough and I have enough experience to, like kind of like feel confident and like all that stuff. Oh my God, how wrong I was.
Let me ask you something that's interesting real quick. Did you ever go back and try and find that scene?
No.
No? No,
like it's
no,
like
the one you saw when you were younger. Did you ever go back and try and find that scene anywhere online?
I can tell you what my imagination is, my brain, my imagination, it's such a wonderful thing. And I have that video, that picture, such a clearly bright and colorful in my mind. What's like, like even like, like maybe I even like imagine it a little bit different right now, but like it's pretty enough for me. And like since we have like, I don't know, it's like unlimited, like huge amount of porn. And, that time it was, oh my God, probably it was DVD.
Sure.
It even wasn't like, like some, I don't know, like I remember like, like, for example, my, the porn, like I was in love, like not at the beginning, but like for like close to like beginning of like, like my like love with porn. It was Andrew Blake, for example, like Andrew Blake, it's like producer, like how it's a director, producer, and he have very like sensual porn. There is a lot of this foreplay tease, but the way how he filmed it, like, you just look at this tease and it's actually, it's enough for you. Like you're good.
Did you have any favorite stars when you first got into porn? I'm always obsessed with that because I have a list of girls that I'm like, these are my favorites. And most of them are retired at this point, which is it's a bummer, but you always have the good stuff to go back to.
I'm actually like, I finally reached that level when some of my fans like texting me like, I grow with your movies. And I'm like, like okay, I have my own generation.
They always say it in that leering voice too.
Yeah, and pretty soon they'll be able to hand that down to their kids when their kids find their DVDs somewhere, and you'll have two generations.
Whole legacy,
that's what's sweet about this. Yeah, it goes on forever. That's good.
We will never die. Yes.
So, all right. So you get into it now. Did you get into this industry over in Russia, or was it before you even came here to the U.S.? Okay.
Yes. Like it was a fate.
So let me ask you, what is the difference in what you've seen from the industry over there versus the industry over here?
It's if to compare with something, it's like, like real channel back and like Chinese copy.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a difference, like quality. And quality, not about like, content itself, because let's say 10 years ago, like all content or it's like good or it's bad, depends like, like what you do. More about like quality of all, like, attitude to industry, attitude to business itself.
Okay.
And anyway, like, don't forget, like, for example, in America, we'll have here, like, this human rights, women rights, feminism, like, you can be whoever you want and don't tell me anything what to do. I know myself and nobody cares what my life is.
Bullshit, yeah.
Yes. So, like, here, like, for example, yes, like, you can play with all these terms and play the way, like, it's going to work for you. So, in Russia, nobody gives a fuck about your rights, like, your humanity and all that stuff. Like, so, like, or you work or you don't. You don't want to work, you will. You want, so, like, bye. And, like, you will not get anywhere else and stuff. So, like, I didn't have this problem, like, for me in my life story, but it's like, how to say, it's a basic how to say, like it's a basic development of like business, how it's happened there and how it's happened here. And I think this is one is huge difference. I hope now, and I believe now, because I know a lot of ex porn stars now, they are producers, like with my ex-agent, like she was porn star, now she's big director for weeks. And like because of that, people, yes, industry can change and protocol can be better. But that time, it was totally like opposite.
So let me ask you this, and this is not meant to. If this sounds rude, it's not meant to be nasty. It's ignorance. Like I don't understand the culture, and that's what I'm asking you to clarify here. This is gonna sound really, really ridiculous. There was a show on Showtime called Shameless. You ever see that show?
Oh yeah, it was a show like I was learning English by this when I get to United States. It was watching whole show like 7 seasons at that time.
Yeah, and that's why you're good at saying fuck probably now because of that show.
Oh yeah.
But they had the character on that show, Svetlana, I think her name was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was Russian, and she came over, and I forget what the whole storyline was, but it's almost like, and again, let me set this up. Remember, if I say
I
this,
know what you're talking about.
I'm not mean, I'm stupid. So let's just clarify that. She was very cold in terms of sex, right? But it wasn't cold as if she was a cold person. It was almost just, this is business. Like, we're working here. This is working. Mm-hmm. Is that like the sense in the, I'm just trying to figure it out, because is there like nice, passionate, like Russian porn where it's sweet and whatever? Or is it like, cut, let's go get lunch, moving on, come on, let's go?
Unfortunately, I can tell you what it's everywhere. Like, no, like, yeah, sure. It's going to be cut, and everyone go to the lunch, and like they can be pretty naked and look at each other. There, it's like not a human, like without any sex. And like, yes, and like, all these feelings, like, after a while, like it's in any country of the business, after a while, like all these feelings, like little bit slowing down. And like, yes, you look at this like more, yes, like it's a job. Like, of course, like, even like, your job to make it passionately. This is the point, like, this is, like, it's like, yes, like I'm professional, like, like I know, but, like like professionalism is about, I know how to show you, all the crew, all people around, what we have a spark, what we have all this passion, we fell in love, and tomorrow we're going to get married, have a lot of kids, and die forever together. But this is like, what my work about, because like, like, do you think like, like we're friends with all the guys and girls? Like, no, we know each other, but sometimes like, like, no, like I wouldn't fuck you like in real. And so on, like, but I still want you to buy this video. So what I have to do? I have to do like him or her or all around, like, believe in it. And what about Russian people? Yes, we are cold, we are greedy for just sharing feelings. And because like, what the fuck, I have to smile to you. As you said before, you have to earn my respect. So you have to earn my smile.
Beautiful.
I'm not supposed to like, being nice and cute to you just for no reason, just like, just to be nice. Like, come on, like, wait, stop, like, like, no.
I fucking love that. I only watch Russian porn from now on. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to invest in some for sure.
Shane, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess like piggybacking off of that. So if you have like a general sense in culture in Russia where like people are more, I guess, just more professional in general, more adult, can be naked and not be herbs. Go ahead.
Maybe maybe like like we still have this like like I don't know, like if to compare again like Russia and United States, it's like remind me what Russia is still more old school, and United States with all this like like I don't know woke stuff and like things like that, like like trying to be like super modern and super like I don't know like unconscious and stuff. They are like forget about like discipline and all this like things like this, and like try to put a lot of like emotion, and then just why like we have a lot of stories with the suicidal things, or like like when people need to like get drunk after all shoots and stuff. And like when you like don't put a lot of emotions and like like do not fall in love in every girl and guy like after all sad and all that stuff, and just like kind of like it's like like you discipline your mind.
Sure.
Like you don't take it personally. Like next day, like I won't be crying when I see this like male performer, I don't know, like fucking another like woman in front of camera, and my life won't be over. And
Sure.
like, of course, yes, like now I'm a little bit, like overplaying like this moment. But this idea about this, like, why I have to put emotions there? Like, it's very exhausting.
Totally
Um,
exhausting.
Yeah, you don't ask people who work in an office to come in and fall in love with their
yeah,
boss, so fuck it.
yeah. You have to
I do.
type and cry from the happiness.
Suck and type and fucking type and
Let,
print and suck.
Yeah, so yeah, don't forget to smile and talk. Like, yeah, come on.
let me tell you,
So,
this sounds nice until I fall in love with a Russian girl, and she just goes, "No,
uh,
you are ugly. Beat it."
No. Like it's just so not true. Like it's all the same. Like all Russian people, like we are spy and we want to steal your this like blue thing, like all that stuff. Like,
our
come on,
plutonium, yeah.
yeah, like we like just I don't know, like how to say, manipulate people, world, and all that stuff. Come on, no. The people are different, and like the women are different, and we have like people who can like like fall in love with you with all the heart, and like somebody who going to be very abusive and stuff like that. But we are like, I don't know, like I don't know why like all the time I keep this word like about like discipline with things. Like it's like really like discipline with mind when you like limit yourself from like that stuff. And just why it seems like like kind of cold. But we are very passionate.
I think
We
I
just
was
hide it. We just hide it.
I was more implying that I'm kind of a wimp and a wuss. So most Russian
He needs
women
to be
couldn't
coddled.
respect me. Yeah. I need a nice, weak American woman to kind of just hold me in her arms. Some Russian woman would just slap me and say, "Get back out, work."
Yeah, because
Eat your borscht.
we came from patriarchy, and like yeah, we still believe in like how to say, we believe in our rights, we fight for our rights, but we know it's still the man's world, and like like okay, like come here, like I show you where you have to get back and kill this fucking moment.
Glad there's still a group of women out there who know good values and morals and want to keep those alive. Yeah.
I'm falling in love with Russian women as we talk. Shane, did you have a
So,
question? Sounded like you're
yeah.
revving up for one.
Yeah, I was just curious. So you mentioned how like the porn industry might be kind of like, it feels like maybe it's like 10 years back, and then there's a more conservative culture in Russia. So like, what was your upbringing like? Were you like in a village and, or in the middle of like the forest or something? Like how were you raised in Russia compared to like Americans? Because I don't really have a good idea of what Russian life is even like.
I don't have a grasp of it, None.
Well, like so, like it's kind of same about the idea with the United States have like a few like big main like cities or states, like in Russia it's just two, and like the rest of people like like we're from like it's not a suburban, but it's like it's some like little city with like little city. It's about 306,000 like people population. And it wasn't not far away from Moscow. Like it's usually take you like up to like 5 to 7 hours to get there. And so from one hand, I was like a little bit away from Moscow, and Moscow have the same vibe like New York, maybe even like like harder, like more angry. I don't know, or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could handle yourself in New York just fine.
Oh, maybe I don't know. Like I didn't like how to say like be myself there like for a lot of time, like for a long time and stuff, but. Yes, like if you don't lose yourself, like once I like was left in Austria in the bus station because my agent she didn't buy the ticket for me, and at that moment she has to fly to Russia, and I just like flew in Austria, and I have to like take this bus and go to Budapest. At that time, I didn't know English. I didn't like. I wasn't in Europe, like it was my second time at all. Like like I didn't understand like where to go and what to do at all. And she asked a couple. It was Chinese girl and Indian guy. They didn't speak English or something, and like we just like three of us didn't know language. We just followed through whole Austria, and it was Vienna, and there is like huge all this underground like like suburban like thing, and like like my one idea was like if I will lose these guys, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like after that situation when we like like we was like literally like running about like 30 minutes, and like after we find my train and I get to like Budapest and like all was good, and like since that moment I realized you can find yourself everywhere like without problem, will it New York or like somewhere else.
Sure. All right, Shane, do you have any other questions about Russia? Let's move to America.
Yeah, go. Yeah, I'd like to move to America because
I did it 6 years ago. Come on, guys. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
time.
It's time.
Time.
It's time to move.
let's look
You
at
have
some
your,
new material.
you
Yeah,
have your own generation now, so we we have to
Right,
move to
yeah.
America. So how many, okay, well, let me start by asking this. How many scenes or whatever, did you have a whole career in Russia before you came to the US, or was it just a few scenes and then you were like, I'm gonna go try, and you're like, I can do this, I'm confident I can do this, I'm beautiful and I'm great looking and I
Yeah.
know I can sell this over there, let's make the move.
Well, no, it was totally, again, it was a fate. Everything was a fate, probably, because before United States, I was working in the business about 5 years. And I had a lot of movies. I had a lot of movies like from Russia, which just was sold to Europe and United States. I have a lot of movies in Europe, but I never took this career. I never took this work seriously because, again, it's still I'm from country where it's this super ashamed and stuff. Like nobody take it for serious. What you cannot do this and make a lot of money all your life and blah blah blah. And it wasn't serious. And of course, my mindset wasn't serious about. And but anyway, by that time, I already had about maybe 100 or even maybe 150 50 movies.
Wow.
Yes, because 5 years and from time to time I was going to Europe to have fun and shoot some videos. And since I moved here, I didn't work maybe 1 year or something because you get all the document things and all this routine. It takes forever.
Sure.
And anyway, my English was pretty weak that time, and American porn, compared to European porn and Russian porn, we don't talk that much. We fuck.
Again, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and so for example, now it's jokes for me and all this fun, but before it wasn't serious moment because it's have to be some comedy dialogue. It's have to be all this dirty talk during sex and it's hard to think in another language and pretend what you feel good and stuff. It was too much work for the beginning. And yes, and I didn't work here, and my career maybe will start was starting here about end of 2018, just maybe, yeah. So I'm working here just for 4 years.
So that's so crazy because most US girls, not most, but there's a lot of US girls that you're well, they need to have this kind of physical work done or get yourself in shape or blah, blah. Your whole thing about breaking into the industry, it's well, Crystal's already hot enough. We just got to show her some US shows and get some English in her. And then once she can start talking a little dirty, we'll jump in there.
No. Everything you see right now, it's work. Yes, maybe I didn't do any how to say, a lot of plastic work and stuff, but anyway, a lot of my face, my body, the way I talk, the way I act, the way I look, the way I walk, the way I move, the way I look at you. It's everything was built through these years and this industry. Yes, of course, I had this beginning skills, talent, and everything. Of course, yes, my body was pretty and my face was nice. But through all these years, when I didn't get success in even at this industry, because it's all the time some were younger, more prettier, more smart, so you can continue this without me, and and of course I saw for example I didn't get this and she got it what she does she has what I didn't, and through all this times I changed yes I learned English now for example I can proudly say it, I'm one of the best dirty talker. I'm doing this amazing, the funniest part, for example, I cannot do it just out of nothing, but only if I have camera action and I know what I really shoot VR or POV, I start talking and sometimes I even not stop. Yeah,
They got
so,
to clamp her mouth shut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, even for a body, I'm gym trainer, I'm working out and I'm trying to exercise my body to again, we're not getting younger every year, so to be in shape and to how to say, to prepare myself to getting old and still be beautiful. And and this
Age
is huge
gracefully.
work because yeah, because it's still we still want to have fun. Sometimes we are not sleeping, sometimes we're drinking, we're having stress. And like, and like through all that, like, like a lot of like things, like it's still like a big job to save yourself, like sleeping in the fridge and red wine, like never get old.
Okay, so let me ask you, you get here and you have this great Russian work ethic behind you, like we talked about. You work hard, you understand this is a business, blah, blah, blah. Have you been on sets where there are some of my favorite videos to find online, and they're not on the porn sites, they're on the other sites, are like meltdown behind the scenes when a performer is like, I wasn't picked up on time and blah, blah, blah. And she's screaming and going off and blah, blah, blah. Have you ever been on set? And I'm not asking you to name names, but have you ever been on set with somebody and you're just sitting back like, this bitch, what is she doing? She's acting nuts over there. Let's just get to work. Move, move, move. Have you ever had that or no? Because you seem like you have an amazing work ethic to you. And I would assume some US girls maybe don't. Not all of them, but some of them.
I start our conversation when I start talking about, imagination and energy, yes, and about work ethic, yes. Like I'm fighting for like fast, efficient, professionally, and like for a certain and proper vibe at set. And maybe because of that, I was like super lucky because like through all these years, like I never get any woman. Yes, sometimes it's like, like it was like girls like who's like, like can look like weirdly at you and stuff. But anyway, I know what it's all in my power, like, like to just change like mood of all this, like, like going around and make it well. And like I heard like sometimes like rumors like, oh, this girl is a bitch and like blah blah blah. And when I like, like eventually I see her at set and I was like, all right, now we're gonna see him. Oh my God, like la la la. And like eventually, like, I keep being myself, I keep being nice, and I notice like, what at least for me, my great mood is contagious.
There you go.
And the way how I'm working and the way how I like, my attitude through work and through all the crew and through all the people, yes, it's contagious. And I'm super grateful for what I know. Maybe like sometimes I can be guilty for like some little improvement.
Sure. And you can really only rate other people based on how they treat you. So if you get on set and you're happy and you're contagious and you're ready to work and ready to be fast, efficient and whatever, and some other girl picks up on that energy and starts working alongside you in that way, you can't be mad at her. She's doing her job, But
yes,
I assume there's been a time when you've been on set with somebody and you just want to start snapping your fingers at them, like let's go. No, you haven't had that yet.
I won't really change. It will just irritate the space more.
Sure.
And we will just like, I had, of course I got what you mean. Like, I had the stories where like, that, as we was talking, like, this spark, this click, it doesn't work. And like, you still feel what, like, for example, another lady, she's more irritated. She like, kind of in rush. But, like people actually like, all the time when people notice around other people who is like, pretty calm, don't give a fuck, like, don't pay attention on all your like, this moody shit. They, like kind of like subconsciously getting embarrassed. And stop doing that. Mm-hmm. And as more as you get involved yourself in like, what the fuck, bitch, are you doing here? I'm princess here and you waste my time, but you're fucking mood. What do you think I'm going to get from? No, I'm just going to get another hurricane and we will fuck up all that stuff. No, like just be kind, be contagious. Fuck that shit.
There you go. That's such a smart way of approaching it, and that's going to help build your reputation as like a professional, nice person to be around. That leads to more work. I think that's great. So when you come over to the US and you start working in the US, all right, we'll do, I'm going to adjust the game we normally do, Shane, but let me ask you this. Is there anything on excuse me, anything on screen that you're just not interested in even trying once, where it's like any amount of money, I'm not going to do that. I use the example Sarah J, right? Sarah J is big name porn star. She's never done anal. She's been offered, she told us $10,000-$20,000 for one anal scene. Doesn't do it. Doesn't want to do it. Not interested in doing it. Doesn't do it in her personal life. Is there anything that you just go, no, that's off my list. I'm never going to do that. I'm not interested in
that. So like, of course, like I have like things like which is I think I will never do, and like even like this phrase never say never. Like for example, I refuse abuse. and I refuse it in any form, even if it's like action or like, yeah, maybe if it's like mainstream movie, it's one thing, but like our porn is like for someone, it's like, I don't know, like book how to like, how to fuck. And so like for that reason, like no abusive stuff. Even if somebody likes it, it's okay. But anyway, like still generally it's something aren't nice. So I'm not doing that. And some sort of certain fetishes, like I don't know, all this like like pissing and like like all this disgusting stuff. I don't like pain. So where else?
No.
I
think
mean, pain is like subjective. I mean, like what are we talking? Like, I mean, as far as pain goes, I mean, because you've done anal scenes. So is that like an appropriate level of pain, or?
It's a little bit different because, for example, like if we talk about anal, but I'm getting ready, I'm preparing for that pain. And so I prepare myself the way what when anal sex going to be start, I'm already prepared enough to do not feel that pain, just like to kind of like get little stretch and like, like feel fine. But if we're gonna talk about like, some BDSM style when like, like they cane you or like, like doing that thing, you cannot prepare yourself to being beaten up.
Sure. Yeah.
You cannot
I've
stretch
tried.
out your skin, or I don't know, like beat yourself more. Yeah, you can eat, I don't know, a whole pack of, I don't know, painkillers, like maybe that way. Yeah, but like for that kind of pain, like no, like you cannot be prepared. And for me, I cannot relate pain and pleasure. And for me, like when like pain gets involved, I become defensive, and like so, like all like this pleasure, like just like fade away, and I already like ready to punch you in the nose, and like so, I'm not sure like it's what you want.
So
Eastern promises you.
Yeah. So it sounds like though. Now, well, let me ask this, and then I'll have a quick follow up. So, do you not enjoy rough sex then?
I do.
Okay, so where would you draw the line between rough and like you make total sense with the BDSM and the caning and this and that. Like you're exactly right. You can't prep for that. It would be if you took a whole handful of painkillers though. It'd be funny watching and kind of falling asleep as someone's hitting you. But that's not the kind of porn I want. But but yeah, how do you draw the line? Is it discussed beforehand or like
So if we talk about porn, about professional porn, about the protocol, about like how to do things right, of course, like before every shoot, even if it's not BDSM, even if it's like regular boy girl, we still discuss stuff because I can get offended if you call me slut during like sex. And like it's also have to be discussed because as you know now we like have like mental pain, like such a high volume and like all that stuff.
You don't want to offend
anyone. It's important because anyway, like it's again about like remember I told you like when it's pain, it's no pleasure, and it's the same. Like like maybe like I don't care to be called bitch, but like another girl, like like she's going to cry because for her it's like trigger. Like when it's trigger, it's trigger. It's like it's equal pain. Like it's a distract you.
No, that makes sense. So it's got to be discussed, and then you have your boundaries that you set beforehand, and you go, "This is how far I'll go." And I don't, I think that makes sense. Have you? And again, we are very positive towards the industry and stuff like that, but have you ever been on a set where something happens like that and you have to just walk, where you have to just go, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do this. Or has everyone been pretty respectful and you've been good at establishing things prior to shooting and stuff like that?
Usually, yes. Usually everything happened like properly and like it's again, like everything needs the foreplay. Like, like talk about like what you can accept in BDSM and regular sex and even in a relationship. When I start working with my agency, of course, like, like it was discussed, like what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, what I want, what I don't want. Of course, sometimes we can like, like all these like little issues, like in my life, actually, it's solved like, in the step, like with communication with my agency. Because like if they like forget something or didn't do something, I'm telling this to them and they fix it. Like, so they will never like lead me to the moment when I get to set and say like, no. Right. Like so because they already know that they already know what I want, what I don't want, and like why we have to, I don't know, like do something on purpose, like for what.
So it's important to put together a good team before you even jump into this, and a team you can
Yes,
trust,
yes.
and a team who knows your interests and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes. Firstly talk so you don't walk away. Like,
Well, the converse of that question I asked you before, the one about anything you wouldn't do, has there been anything that you want to do or want to try? Anything in either a kink phase or, you know, a gangbang or this, anything you want to do that you haven't been able to get to yet?
like in that case, it's more like how to say, idea of the location. For example, like, like some rooftop of the high building, like, like in the middle of the desert, like stuff like this. But like exactly about like, what kind of genre, like, I don't know, as for now, I feel pretty content with everything I tried. And I think, like at the time, like when I still want to enjoy what I'm doing, and maybe then, like, like when, it's, we're always at certain point where like we feel not enough, like, okay, I'm done
Sure.
with it, something.
Yeah.
And as for now, I'm pretty content. I don't know, like maybe as I say, like, like Sex and the Sun, like her, like, Empire still feels, something like that.
It sounds like you're just trying to get free trips out of it to different places, though.
Oh yeah, travel. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
it was just a meme. Like a few days ago, I was reading like I want this like travel relationship or something. Be like we just like trip and fuck and something like that.
Oh yeah, don't we all?
It sounds,
Sure.
it sounds amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think you could probably get it over either of us. That kind of relationship, that would be good.
We could
I
just
definitely
go plan trips and fuck each other. Yeah.
you and I could do it. Yeah, sure. That's whatever. We get to see the world at least.
Right.
But okay, all right, good. So let me ask you this. This is a little question we ask women here. We consider probably three main factors when it comes to women working in the porn industry. Okay, there are three things that keep you in the industry, it seems like. Could you rank them for me? 1, 2, 3. And here's the three I'm going to give you. You like staying in the industry because of the great sex you have, the money you make, or the fame you get from it. So can you tell me what's the number one most important thing to you out of those three? Sex, fame, money, second, and then the least important.
Freedom. The first one is freedom.
Well,
It's a good answer.
So I think that in that case, I think
We got to update the choices.
well, doesn't freedom present itself in all of those things? Monetary freedom, having the ability.
So like in that case, that's why like I'm trying like I'm going like next. So like then that means like in this from these 3 points, like I think it can be money first of all.
Sure.
Because money is tool which just gives you freedom. So it's like you pay for your for having more like free time.
Sure.
For being available and for belong to yourself. Like what I'm paying, how I pay for that? Like I'm paying by like shooting porn, by making more money, by spending less time. And so like that case, like yeah, like maybe someone doesn't like me, but I still belong to myself because I have more free time, which is like that people don't. So that's why like I cannot call it like money exactly, because I can call it freedom, because like it's not just exactly money, it's even the style of my work, because my work is like it's a work I don't have to work 24/7, and I can work like 3 times in a week, and I can have like like chat with my friends on OnlyFans, and like I already have this money, and for example like like tomorrow I have all day what to do, and instead of like being like like counting time, like like I'm not counting that, I'm just sitting and talking to you because like like I can do it from home, I don't need to like stop on the traffic.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah. What about number 2 then? The difference between having some of the best sex in the world or being around the sexiest people in the world. I don't just mean
yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, it's like it's a main. It's one of the Let it the second one, because I even remember like the story about anal sex. It's like just why like we can call it second, because before porn like I didn't try it. So like I have like couple like couple attempts, which is like was failure.
I've had a lot of those too.
Yeah,
I don't want to remember about them anymore. And like my idea, I even remember it was like what eventually when I like joined porn and stuff, and like okay, now I finally can try anal sex, because of like like there's like people who professionally know how to do it like right, and like like don't make me run away and like like cry or like whatsoever. And so yeah, that's why. And of course like like most of the time we have like pretty people, amazing girls, and a lot of titties around me all my life. Oh my god, it's fucking amazing. Of course, yes.
So the fame isn't so much of a factor. Like it must be nice having a lot of followers and being able to then, sell things and like, they're all somewhat interconnected, right?
You
In this
know,
industry, for sure.
to be honest, for all these years, like, a lot of my coworkers and people who knows me, they tell me about this fame and what, I'm kind of like, like celebrity and famous and stuff. I still, like, cannot wear this dress on me. I still like, like I understand, like, like I see things and like I know like what I'm doing, but the idea of what like, like I already get some fame, which is like, gives me like oh my God, I'm superstar. I still like, I still cannot like feel it. Like maybe like I need a little bit more time, but eventually I will feel it and will see it because I got here 6 years ago, and like about 4 years, how I working in my career, I finally speak language. I finally like try to do a lot of projects. I finally try to like networking with people. Like I'm finally got into just now. So and like maybe if it's not all these barriers and stuff, and like anyway, like when you're a stranger, like it's a little harder to get in somewhere. And like
So,
now, yes.
okay, all right. That's interesting. See, I look at fame and I go, boy, I sure would like to, be wherever. But I don't want to hang out with fucking famous people. I want the money associated with it, I think, because I want the freedom. Like you said, I want to wake up tomorrow and go, I don't have shit to do today and I don't have to do anything. Or
I can say I can do it today and tomorrow, like I don't know, like I go another town like to have fun. Like you can
That's a
just
work
make
ethic.
decisions. Like
Yeah. True fame. I mean, think about it. Wouldn't it be terrible? Like you said, every time you went to the grocery store, if you had to like put sunglasses on and everything else, so people didn't come up and mob you. Like, what's the point of that freedom if you don't really have that freedom?
It's not a freedom. There, like like I think it's exactly about an amount of money. Because when we have not enough, like we don't have this freedom because we are like belong to surviving. And when we have like too much money because we are famous, we sell our freedom for this a lot of money. Like either or, like you like do not belong yourself because here like you're chasing money, and here like now you like just have all this money but you don't have yourself. And like when you find this like like perfect balance, you still can like have this chance to belong to yourself at least like few hours in a day when people don't have this opportunity.
That's really insightful. I never considered that before.
Yeah.
Shane, do you have any more questions here for Crystal?
I was actually just going to ask a question, but I was just mesmerized by her wisdom there. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great way to put it, and it makes me want to just quit my day job. So they're gonna be fucked tomorrow, but that's their problem, not mine. I'm free, and then I'll go get my unemployment check as soon as I can.
God. I'm such a bad influencer.
You said it.
So what is the career path? Where do you see yourself moving forward, going forward? I know
that was it. Yeah. What's coming out? Is there anything outside of porn? Was my question. I think it falls right in line with your question, Matt.
To couple on top of that as well, is there anything outside of porn, or also where do you see your career going? What is your end goal? Are you just having fun day by day at this point, or do you have a grand plan for what you're doing?
Like in Russia, we like to say what life more rich than our plans. And of course, like I'm planning to be the president of the world, but like let's see how far I can go. Of course, like I have like certain plans, and like one of them, like I'm not supposed to like leave porn, like retire or something. Like yes, maybe one day I will stop being the model, but like I still want to, like stay with industry because I love it. And like also like I'm a gym trainer, and maybe like finally like I start helping people to get into shape again. And also like just last month I just got married, and like my wife, she's like a social networker, like she's worked with the PR, and like she's a character, and like I have a couple ideas, so maybe I can do project like over like my wife. So let's see. I don't know. I hope it will happen.
Well, I'll do all your big plugs, but let me just shout this out too. InsideTheDrop.com. If you go on there and you search Crystal Rush, you have this merch that's coming out when August drops August 26th. Pre-orders begin August 12th, right? It's through Vixen. Are they paying you for that? or is that just a
Oh
cool
no,
thing?
I didn't do anything 2 weeks.
No.
No, it was a collaboration. So there is a team they call it Inside the Drop. It's a couple guys. So one of so like, yeah, like this like couple American guys. And they just like made this business and they do collaboration with some like hot girls and stuff. And we just like make this little collab with the t-shirts, like some pillows and fresh air freshener. But now I'm working on another one. Like there is going to be like a little bit different and hot pictures and maybe new flavor for air freshener.
Oh, new flavor of air
cool.
freshener. Well, this stuff is really cool. So you should go to insidethedrop.com and check it
Yeah,
out.
I
and
have
search
like
Crystal
this. Like I don't know. Can you show the titties?
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. We love showing the titties. You can show it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, Shane's
yeah, it's a board. Yeah, it's a board.
Shane's got a son, so we can just buy one of them for his son.
Yeah, we'll
that
get
would
him
be
one.
pretty cool. That's awesome. So let me ask you this real quick. I didn't think you'd tell us that little thing about your wife. Is it your wife is a social media? Is she knows how it works? She knows the algorithm. She knows all that stuff.
She was in industry, like, she left industry the day like I joined it. Yeah, and now she's more like, about clubbing life and like all this stuff. But it's still like, I sometimes like I can not sometimes most of the time we're all like huge family, like like yes, it can be like like sex industry, like a porn industry. It's super close, like all this club industry. It's super close, all this like like host and podcast industry and stuff, and like like anyway, like we go and move and through this ocean, we still like like see our like streams. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask. Does she ever help you collaborate with your stuff? Does she help you run your social media stuff? Because Shane, his wife is on OnlyFans and he works with her very closely. I work with my wife on a lot of art projects, and it always is so great when you have somebody who like you could present an idea and they go, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yes.
Or if you think you have this great idea, you're like, I'm going to do this. And someone else can come in with another idea. And your first thought isn't immediately, oh, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. But they like give you a better idea. And you're like, oh, shit, they're right. And it's so good that it's, at the end of the day, it's the person you love and that you're with. Do you guys ever work on stuff like that? Or is it like two separate careers?
Everything. I think it's have to be everything, like you never have to dissolve on one person, forget about yourself or like separate yourself for sure. It's have to be like your own self. And of course it's have to be your like family couple relationship or like whatever. And like, for example, yes, first of all, yes, I get my idea. First of all, of course, I think my idea from like upside down, inside out, like from all these ways.
That's that imagination you talked about.
Yes. Like you look at this idea, you see picture, you like, like before, like, like we just like yesterday, we was listening some smart podcast and it was saying like, first of all, people was thinking about light, then they create the lamp. So like everything you imagine, like, right. And like, so, and of course, like first, like I have this idea, like I think about, I kind of like, like try to see how it can be like, like made and stuff. And only like when like I have an idea and I have like ideas like how it can be like, like done, like so like I can come and talk about it. Because anyway, you have to have gradation about the friends and even your family, loved one, like who you share with, like who, like for example, like what to this person, I can come with my idea because this person probably can accumulate it in something bigger and then can create more. Like to that person, like better I can like just for advice. And to this person, I call them tomorrow.
I think that's a great way to end it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Crystal Rush today. Go to her Instagram at Godmother Rush, spelled exactly like you think it would be spelled. On Twitter at _Rush187 _. And I don't know if she does pay-per-views. I don't know if it's paid. Whatever it is, break out your wallet and go to her OnlyFans account. Okay. Don't be cheap. You've heard everything. This is fast, efficient business. Bust out that wallet and go pay for it. Go to her OnlyFans at Rush187. Crystal Rush, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It was wonderful promotion. Thank you for having me. It was interesting to talk and answer for your question.
That was wonderful. For your worst friend, I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to Your Worst Friend. Going deeper.